As we prepare for 2023, I want to give you some of the best investments that I'm really excited about and some of the worst ones that I'm staying away from. Let's hop into one of the best investments for 2023 that is something that is probably going to surprise you because it's something I'm not even into, I have no desire to invest in, but when you see an opportunity, you gotta go for it, and that is stocks. If you've been following me, then you know I am not a stock guy. In fact, as of this very moment, I own $0 of stock. I've made my wealth in real estate through house flipping, wholesaling, buying rental properties, and just building businesses around real estate. But I'm also an opportunist, and when I see something that's just so inherently obvious, I can't help but put my money towards it or go seek the opportunity. And when I see companies that literally run the world lose so much of their value in the last year, I can't help but think, man, these companies are gonna be okay. It's just a matter of time. I would still make a pretty good bet that Meta, Apple, Google, Tesla are all gonna be really good companies in the long run. I don't see them losing their market share. Most of them have built-in monopolies that can't be touched. And these are just grade A companies that you know are gonna be fine in the long run. And honestly, it's pretty ridiculous that they've fallen so far to this point. I'm not an expert by any means. They could go even further. But if you dollar cost average and you're holding these things for the long run, I don't see how you lose. And this reminds me a lot of 2020, which was the only other time I ever invested in stocks. Back then, stocks crashed, very similar to what they have now. And I sat there looking at it like, man, there's no way these stocks are worth what they're selling for right now. I'm gonna put some money towards this. I didn't run any kind of trading analysis or charts or anything like that. I just intuitively picked up companies that I felt like were great companies that would be good for the long run. And sure enough, I almost doubled my money. Now, this doesn't make me a stock expert by any means. I am definitely not that. But as I said before, when you have grade A companies that literally run the world and they've crashed significantly, I think they're gonna be just fine in the long run, and this is a great time to buy them. So you're gonna see me start to invest in the companies that I personally use because I know their platforms and their products really well. I'm a big Apple guy. I'm a big YouTube guy, which is Google. I'm a big believer in Meta. I love using Instagram. I think the metaverse will be a big thing in the later years. And I pretty much love anything that Elon's involved with. So you'll see me going into things like Tesla and Twitter. Now let's talk about a bad investment that I see in 2023, which is any kind of retirement plan. Now look, full disclosure, I've got a self-directed IRA that I used to contribute to for many years. But something funny happened. Even though it was self-directed and I had complete control of it, I was able to use it to buy real estate. I just started to realize as I made more money, it wasn't even able to give me that big of a write-off. The maximum amount I could contribute was something around $54,000. 5 years ago when I opened that up, getting a $54,000 write-off this year was a lot of money. But today my businesses do 7 figures a month, so writing off $54,000 for a year doesn't really do me any good. And you might say, Ryan, well, what about 401ks, solo 401k, the infinite banking thing, whole life, all that other stuff? Look, that stuff can work for the right kind of person, but for me personally, it's just not even worth my brain power. Me having to think about how much money I should contribute over here and how I can go manipulate the system and get the infinite banking over here is just killing my innovation on creating businesses and investing in the things that I'm really good at, like real estate. And to reiterate, I think they can both save you money and make you money, but for me personally, it's just not worth it trying to make an extra couple percent arbitrage when you start looking into a bunch of these methods. I'd rather spend my time and energy on making a lot more elsewhere. And what I've realized is since I'm a real estate investor, the easiest way for me to not pay taxes is just to buy more real estate. By owning rental properties, I can get depreciation, I can do things like cost segregations, and I could pay very little taxes if I just buy enough real estate. And for me, that's a far better proposition than figuring out where to store my money in these retirement vehicles. And that leads me to one of my best investments for 2023, which is, as you guessed it, real estate. Now, obviously I am biased because real estate's made me my wealth to this point. I teach people how to invest in real estate. So it's easy for me to say, you should buy real estate. But the truth is, when you get good at real estate investing, you can make money no matter what the market is doing. Are there gonna be painful seasons like there is right now where you're holding on to properties you bought during a time when things were way hotter than they are today? Absolutely. We are having to take some losses on some of our flips. But as we sell through those and we get on to the next phase, there's a lot of opportunity on the other side. Those who persevere through a downturn are the ones who win big. Think about all of the investors who bought in 2009, 2010, 2011. Very similar to how things are now. Lots of fear. People were scared. They didn't want to invest. But guess what? Those people made a lot of money. And they did it with very little competition. And the funny thing is, even though that was a great time to buy as a long-term investor, the last 2 years, it's been an amazing time to be a house flipper or a wholesaler. You were routinely selling your flips instantly with multiple bids first day on the market, getting way over asking price, and you were just making a killing. The reason I bring both those up is that the market was very different in both those situations. On one hand, people were super scared, it was fearful, there wasn't a lot of competition, it took forever to sell a house. And then on this side, everybody was hyped up, everybody wanted to buy, selling it was super easy. And the common theme is people made a lot of money in both scenarios if they were active in the real estate market and they understood what they were doing for that time. And the thing is, the real estate market is never perfect. It's never easy to get deals and then easy to sell deals. It's always one or the other. If it's easy to get deals like it was back in 2010, it's going to be harder to sell them. The last 2 years, it was a lot harder to get deals, but it was easy to sell them. So if you're only waiting to invest when it's a perfect market where things are just great on both sides, you can go get deals easy, you can sell them easy, then you're probably never going to invest. What I will say is in 2023, one of my big focuses is to buy a ton of grade A real estate that I want to hold long term. Now, with high interest rates, the cash flow is probably going to be non-existent. I might even lose money every month. But I know for a fact at some point, rates will go down again. It may be in 2023, which we all hope, but even if it doesn't, if I own those grade A assets and I'm buying them at a big discount, I'm happy holding them for the long haul, because they're going to give me a tax write-off that year, they're going to appreciate a ton, and when I refinance them later down the road, they are going to cash flow. And that's not to mention all the rent growth that will happen over time as well. But personally, I'm hoping they lower rates sooner rather than later. I've been reading some rumors that might start happening in December, but who knows. Now let's go back to some of my worst investments for 2023, and that is in holding cash. Now, many investors have been sitting on the sidelines with a bunch of cash now for the past few months, or some even years. Now, if you've been holding cash for the last few months, then it was probably a good decision if you're a savvy investor. But the reality is most people aren't savvy investors. In fact, they're just holding cash as an excuse for not taking any action. Most people are just scared to make a decision, and they convince themselves that they're being really smart by sitting it out on the sidelines, and they're just waiting to jump in the game. But here's the reality of that. It is really hard to time the market. And if you haven't had a ton of success investing before, and I'll define success as having made over $1 million investing, then you probably don't have the skill set to time the market. In fact, I've invested hundreds of millions of dollars towards real estate purchases and all types of things. And I can tell you, I can't even time the market. So thinking that you can just wait to jump in is probably not a wise decision. But there is one clear thing that I see happening. What I see is a ton of people making money every single year, regardless of what the market is doing. People who know how to make money, whether it's through entrepreneurship or through investing, always find a way to make money no matter what's going on around them. Every successful person I know right now is making money in this market right now. Now, they may be sitting on a bunch of cash that they're not investing into anything with, but I can tell you they're growing their business over here and they're generating revenue, and they have a plan for all of this money that they're accumulating. And they're most likely looking for a very specific opportunity because they're a savvy investor or a savvy entrepreneur. But as I said, these are certain people who have certain skills who have proven it time and time again. Speaking of developing skills, that brings me to one of my best investments of 2023, which is investing in you. The number one investment you should make is into yourself. Screw investing in Google, screw investing in real estate, screw investing in crypto. Invest into you. And this includes all aspects of life. Invest into your health. Go hire a personal trainer, hire a nutritionist. Invest into your family. Set up routines that you guys are gonna follow. Start taking your wife on date nights. Take Sundays off to be with the kids. Invest time into growing your faith. And of course, that includes investing time into developing your skills to be a better business person or investor. Go join a mastermind, hire a mentor or coach, and start attending events. These are easily going to be the best investment out of anything you could ever make, hands down. You are your own best investment for 2023, so don't ever forget it.